Thank you for joining us for a discussion with our alumni panel. In this discussion, you will hear 4 unique experiences that all started here at Rowan College of South Jersey Cumberland campus. My name is Rita Rios, and I am the Director of Internship and Career Planning for the Cumberland campus. And before we get started, I would like to give the panel members a moment to introduce themselves and share their story. So the first one that we would like to hear from is Cerise.
Hello. Hi, I'm Cerise. I graduated from Rowan College in 2018 of May. And then after I graduated from Rowan College, I transferred into Thomas Jefferson University nursing program, where I graduated in May 2020 with my Bachelor's of Science of Nursing. And now I am a registered nurse. I work at Inspire Vineland Medical Center. I work on a surgical step-down unit, and I've been a nurse for over a year now. When I first went to Rowan College, I always knew I wanted to go to school for nursing. I just didn't know what path I wanted to go, if I wanted to stay at Rowan, if I wanted to get into a bachelor's program or go for my LPN first and then go for my RN. There's a lot of different ways you can become a nurse, a lot of different programs out there. Rather you start out as being an LPN and then transfer into an RN program. So there's definitely a lot of options. Before I went to school for nursing, I was in the medical field. I was a certified nurse's aide for about 5 years before I became a nurse.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. The next person I'd like to introduce is Jake.
Oh, hey, everyone. My name is Jakob Vazquez. I am a current student at RCSJ. I actually started in 2019 in September. And when I initially started, my plan was to go into mechanical engineering, but my advisor had actually talked to me about an alternative that was similar to mechanical engineering, and I decided to go in the route of mechanical engineering technology, which has had a lot of opportunities for me. Give me a big opportunities to explore a lot of the facilities that we have here, including the newly opened Mill Lab, which has a lot of robotics and a lot of things in store for students who are willing to come here or have an interest in joining that program. I've enjoyed it ever since, and my plan is to be able to graduate at the end of this fall with my associates, and I'm super excited for that. And I know that's something that a lot of other people have also an opportunity of doing if they push themselves hard enough. And I know that it's something that's an awesome experience.
Great, thank you very much. And I just want to take a moment to explain a little bit about Jake's role. Currently at Cumberland, we have a new internship class called Internship Career Connections. So Jake was actually the first one to initiate and be a student and complete and graduate from that class. So he's going to share a little bit about his internship experience and how that has helped him and benefited him in his current major. So thank you and stay tuned for that. All right, the next person I would like to introduce is Natalie.
Hello. So my name is Natalie Castro, and I actually graduated in 2012. I graduated with my associate's degree in biomedical science, healthcare option. I was part of the nursing program, but had to tweak my program a little bit and finished with my biomedical science, healthcare option degree. Then I transferred over to Montclair State University, where I graduated with my bachelor's in child advocacy and policy. From there, I had a fantastic teacher, instructor who kind of challenged me a little bit to try to find a career in that field, and figured that social work was the route to go. And so I applied for my master's program at Stockton University, where I graduated in 2016. From there, I've explored a ton of different areas in social work. And currently right now, I have the pleasure of working from home as a behavioral health case manager and clinician over at Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey. My time there, I spent a lot of my time in the offices, and that's how I got to know a lot of people on campus. So I was going through the work study program, and I was a very non-traditional student, being a single mother and trying to make ends meet while being a full-time student. So it was a difficult path, but I made it through, and now I can kind of share my experiences, not only with other students that are going through the same situations, but with my own child and friends. So thank you.
Yes, thank you, Natalie. Okay, and Jacob.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jakob Venditti. Honestly, it's a blur. I don't really recall. When I graduated from, it was called Cumberland County College when I went. I want to say it was probably the fall of 2016 when I graduated with my associates in human resource and business management. After that, the Cumberland County College had a really good program with Wilmington University, where that's where I finished my bachelor's degree. And same with Cerise, I graduated in May of 2020, which was probably one of the worst times to graduate and find a job right out of college. So, you know, I actually know Jacob. Me and him actually worked at the YMCA together temporarily after I finished, as I was going for my degree. And, you know, after COVID, after everything kind of maybe not relaxed, but as things started to get a little bit normal, I was able to get a job at a hospitality company in Cape May, New Jersey called Cape Resorts. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of like Congress Hall or the Virginia Hotel, anything like that. I work for the company that oversees those properties. And yeah, I work in the HR department. Obviously, you know, if you guys watch The Office or pretty much any movie or TV show, human resources is kind of like one of the things that people laugh at. If you just look at Toby from The Office, everyone kind of just looks at him like, oh my God, here's human resources. So it was kind of funny that I got involved in that. When I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life and you know, go to college, you know, I was always intrigued with the business aspect, you know, and the people aspect of it. Like I said, I consider myself a people person, so I put both of them together, and it's been a joy. You know, I'm a human resource coordinator. I started there as an assistant. Within 8 months, I was able to get a promotion. And you know, it's been a joy, and I consider myself very lucky.
Yeah. And I know Jacob was actually in my class when I was teaching. It was a freshman seminar, but it was called Career Development at the time. And I must say, like, you have left a memory in my head. Not bad. Don't get worried.
Well, that's good.
But you were memorable because you just demonstrated a lot of leadership qualities. So, I mean, even in class, you know, you took leadership, you were willing to talk. So I'm not surprised that you are where you are today, because you demonstrated these qualities that would make you successful back then. So good job.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with our first round of questions, which focuses on your time here at Rowan College or Cumberland County College. So we'll start with Cerise. Cerise, can you share with us something that you loved about being a student at Rowan College?
Something I loved about being a student at Rowan College was the resources they had. I felt like they had a lot of resources. One of like my weakest subjects was always like English. So they had the writing center that I used a lot, like every week to help me write my papers. And even after transferring and going to a bigger college, I found like the resources wasn't as good as they were at Rowan. Like the writing center was nothing compared to what Rowan had. So those are one of the things that I loved about Rowan College was the resources, and the library too. I used the library a lot, and the librarians there were very helpful. The resources they had there, the books. So I felt like there's a lot of things and people you could reach out to if you're like struggling in a class or struggling with a paper. I even got help with a lot of my science courses too, because they were difficult. So I definitely appreciate all the resources they had to help me
Yeah.
be successful.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think being a community college and being a smaller college, we're able to focus more on the needs of our students to help prepare them for the bigger four-year universities. So I'm glad that you were able to utilize those things to help you be as successful as you are today. So thank you.
Thank you.
So the next question is for Jake. Can you tell us one of your favorite instructors or a class that you did well in?
I would say one of my favorite instructors was Dr. Courtney Bolden. She's an engineering professor here at Rowan College of South Jersey, and I've had her since the beginning. And I know that I currently have her as of my last semester, and it's been an awesome experience to be able to have, not just a professor like her, but multiple professors that I've had that have also left a great mark at my time here at RCSJ. Some of my favorite classes included Circuits 1, Intro to Engineering 1, just a lot of engineering classes where she had actually taught, and she has been able to see me grow throughout my semester, has been a great aid, and overall just a great professor.
Yeah, I'm sure she would appreciate everything that you said. And I know I can agree. She is great. She let me play with a drone and I crashed it into a wall and she wasn't mad at me. So she is a great person, very forgiving. Okay, Jacob, what is a piece of advice you'd share with students from your experience?
For me, and as I said before, I graduated in May 2020, which, was probably one of the hardest markets to find a job in. And with that being said, those months of just trying to find a job and being on continuous interviews and, not getting them, and, coming back home and really looking in the mirror and trying to like figure out, like, is it me, or it's just, I would say my biggest piece of advice is like, don't get frustrated with like your quote unquote failures or your losses. Try to learn by them. And I felt as though after each interview, I was able to figure out, maybe I shouldn't have said this. Maybe I should have explained this a little bit more. Maybe I should, do this a little bit better. But one of the things that I really learned from, all those interviews was that, you really have to walk into an interview and try to sell yourself. And, being in HR and, I do interviews after interviews. I do a lot of job fairs and career events. I do these types of things like these job fairs, and I have students come and they're able to, express themselves to me. And, I think it's important that I'm able to also express myself with them and try to coach them and teach them on those types of things. Because for me, I didn't have anybody to coach me. After I graduated and I left, I was kind of on my own and I had to figure it out. So, basically, don't get frustrated, take a deep breath, take some notes, and you'll fly by.
Great. Thank you for that great advice. And I'm just going to plug our department here. Luckily for you, for those watching this video, you don't have to worry about whether you'll be prepared for an interview or not, because you can see any of us at the Internship and Career Planning Division, and we will gladly help you with mock interviewing and, making that resume look, ready for that, for that position that you're applying for. So I just had to plug us a little bit.
Yeah,
so
that wasn't staged, everyone.
Not at all. But I figured I'd take advantage of an opportunity, never miss an opportunity. So thank you very much. Natalie, I'm going to pose you the same question. A piece of advice you'd share with students from your experience here.
So I think for me, I just felt so out of place because I fell into a statistic for our county of being a teen mom. And, I felt like I didn't deserve to be there. And so one thing that I would share with others who are in the same situation, or just those that get to class and you feel awkward and nervous and like, you don't know what you're doing, I would say you deserve to be there. You've made it this far. And in reality, like, everyone in your class is faking it until they make it, and it's probably like mid-semester before we start getting it all together. So I would definitely have to say, like, you deserve to be where you are. You've worked hard for it, and don't let anybody ever make you feel like you don't deserve to be there, including yourself, because I doubted myself a lot, you know, through my journey. And now I look back on it and I'm like, wow, I don't believe that I was able to do all of that, plus working full time and taking care of a child. So, you know, if I could do it, any of you can. Trust me, you can.
Yep. Thank you for sharing. Natalie, I know that I've known you then and I know you now. And, you know I always say I'm proud of you, and I feel like, you know, weird saying that, but I don't feel weird saying that, because I know you did have so many things that just kept coming at you, you know, and you just pushed them and just persevered. And, you know, you're just such a successful professional now. Like, I'm just like, wow, like, I just really, I guess, proud, and just, you know, I look up to you because I'm like, wow, like, she's just overcome so many things. And, you know, you're still kind-hearted. You're not, you know, like all these other things that could have happened, and you're just positive. And now look at you, you're helping other people that are going through, you know, the difficulties in their life. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you
You're
so
always
much.
welcome to be here. So
Yeah, thank you. And I just want to put it out there and say that, you know, I'm not a victim of my experiences. I've embraced them. And so I actually use them when, you know, when applying for different colleges, when going for different licensure. And, you know, I got the chance to be you know, when I was at Cumberland, I was a junior advisor, and, you know, I had the opportunity to share my experiences and how I navigated certain systems. And so if I could just share that advice with just one person, and it can make their journey a little bit easier, than I did my job for the day. And so, you know, all I can say is I wouldn't be where I am now without the staff that, you know, was there at Cumberland helping me as a, you know, work study, as a junior advisor, and as overall just a student. And they really helped shape me, not only as a professional, but, you know, they took me out of kind of like that feeling of not belonging and not knowing what to do in college. And they showed me the ropes and said, hey, you do deserve to be here. So I wouldn't be where I am in my career without, you know, the staff that I had at Cumberland. So thank you.
thank you. Thank you. So we're going to continue on the topic of like overcoming challenges and things that have helped you stay on course. So Jake, I'm going to pose this question to you. What or who motivated you to keep going? Because I know you're in engineering and a lot of those classes are very difficult. So what keeps you motivated?
I would definitely say number one is just my faith, and just my faith in God. Also my parents, they've been super helpful in, you know, times where I was studying all night, and you know, they'd come, you know, talk to me when I was stressed, or it's like, hey, you know, you got this, you can do this. Sooner or later, you're going to be able to have that test in your hand and be able to, you know, work with all the studying that you did, and that work that you applied. So I would definitely also say what also motivated me was knowing the fact that the honors and the things that are possible, that, you know, they're closer than they seem. That I have, like, you know, it's graduation is coming up soon for me, and I know that I worked hard in order to you know, have that happen and be able to receive my associates in my hand. That's something that I know I've been working for, and not giving up at any point, and just pushing forward as best as I can.
Great. That's great. So Cerise, can you take this moment to share with us any work, life, or school challenges that you had to face and how you overcame them?
Yeah, so the whole time I was in college, I worked full-time as a nurse's aide, which was very difficult, going to school full-time, working full-time, trying to juggle both, find the time to study, and just find the time just simply for myself. That was pretty challenging. Nursing school in general was really challenging. There was days I was like, I can't do this. I'm done. I'm just going to drop out the program. And, you know, thank God I had like such a great support system, my family, and they're like, no, like, it's just like now is tough. The end goal will be there soon. Like you'll be at the end soon. So definitely just going to school in general is challenging, especially when you're just like dealing with life situations, work, but you know, you get through it, and here I am now, got through it. So
So focusing on the end goal is important, and just keeping that perseverance and dealing with the challenges.
yes, I would say focus on the end goal. Like I had to keep reminding myself, this is not forever. You know, you have 2 years left, it's almost done, you're almost there. So going from 5 years of school, and 2 years felt close, then before you know it was a year, and before you know it was graduation day. So super exciting.
I know, and now you're here, and you're just a graduate and on an alumni panel, huh?
Yeah. It goes quick.
It does, right? Thank you for sharing. Jakob, any struggles you had that you could share and how you managed and overcame?
I would say one struggle that I had after, you know, when I got the job and I was an assistant is I always struggled to be like very coachable. Like I kind of consider myself like a rebel. So, you know, when you have people above you and they are, you know, trying to guide you, you know, it was very hard for me to try to, you know, see their vision. And, you know, after time and after being around them and learning from them and, you know, basically having them mentor me, I was able to, you know, sit back and trust them. And, you know, I was able to get a promotion out of it. You know, being able to have someone above you that can teach you and guide you in the right direction, you know, professionals that you're trying to be one day. You know, when I first came into it, it was very tough, you know, trying to do the day-to-day and having this mindset of like, this is how I want the office to be, or this is how I want my job to be. And then it being completely different, I struggled with that. And then as I was able to see what they were trying to implement, and as I was starting to see what their vision was for the office and the department, I was able to get right on with them. And, you know, we've been very successful. And, you know, we're finally at a point in our recruitment where we're not, you know, we don't have, you know, 50 help wanted signs up around Cape May, because if you walk around Cape May and if you walk around, you know, a lot of the shops, that's what it is. And that's what it is, you know, pretty much everywhere. So, you know, always try to learn from the people above you and, you know, give them the opportunity to teach you and guide you.
Great. Thank you for that great advice. Natalie, so what hurdles, if any, did you experience during your transfer process?
I think the biggest one, so I did one of the partnerships with Montclair State University, and I feel like it was just in the beginning stages of that partnership. And so picking classes was not just simply going online and picking classes. There were about 8 of us in that class, and we all had to take a trip up to Montclair State University to go pick our classes. I would say, you know, even everything from applying with, you know, financial aid and getting all the documents and the papers and everything in, you know, it was very it was a struggle, and a lot of times we had to take our trip up to Montclair State and look at all our fees and everything. And so I would say the paperwork and just the logistics of it was the most difficult for my class, because it was in the beginning stages. But once we got through all of that, everything just kind of flowed, and it got easier every year. I was there for 2 years, so it did get easier after that. But I'm sure, you know, with the other classes that were coming in after us, you know, they streamlined everything. We were just kind of like the guinea pigs that had to iron out all of the, you know, the wrinkles in the partnership that they were having with Cumberland. So,
yeah. Well, we like to call it the pilot group.
right.
Because it's more empowering for the people going through it, you know, if we say you're the pilot group. So, you know. Well, thank you for sharing that. So now I want to focus on your success now. So a lot of times, you know, we look back and we're like, man, I wish I would have known then what I know now. So let's pretend that that's the case. And I'm going to open it up to whoever, you know, wants to answer first. But what advice do you think you would give yourself, either your freshman self or yourself, you know, 5 years ago? What advice, knowing what you know now, what would you tell yourself?
I would say to respect the grind. I recall Cerise saying, like, working those long hours and also going to school. Like, I remember working, like, you know, 40-hour weeks, and then also trying to make, like, you know, trying to go home and do like a hybrid class that's, you know, getting out of work at 5 and going on a class that's at 6 till 9, and then writing a paper for another class. All those experiences, you know, doing that, you know, while I was in college, it really made, I mean, right now, like where I'm at now, what I'm doing now, it's, I don't want to say easy, but it really shaped me, and it really prepared me for, you know, what my career is going to be. So I would say really respect the grind, you know, when you're going through it, you know, as a freshman, as a sophomore, you're a senior, whatever, understand that all the work that you're putting in at that current moment, it's going to apply down the road when you're at that dream job, or, you know, if you're trying to get to that dream job, it's going to get you there. I promise you.
Thank you. Anyone else want to share?
I would like to share. So for me, what I would say is, like, to my freshman self, don't let like one grade determine how the rest of the semester is going to be. Sometimes when you're usually a freshman, you're coming straight out of high school, and that was my case when starting up at RCSJ. And whenever I had like a grade that I wasn't super pleased with, especially something that I studied for, and I didn't perform as well, I was usually pretty upset with myself, and kind of at that time momentarily felt that this is how this rest of the semester was going to be. But I knew that that's something that I couldn't let determine how the rest of the semester was going to be, knowing that there was other opportunities, as well as a lot of the tutoring center, you know, things that they had available was super helpful in allowing me to overcome that and push forward. And I would also say, just for opening up to great opportunities, sometimes I just had to push myself a little more to reaching out to other things that I know that would be for my benefit and would I wouldn't regret. So I would definitely say that, to push myself.
Thank you. Cerise or Natalie, would you like to share what advice?
I'll share, definitely. So I think something that I would tell myself and share with freshmen, I mean, anybody at any stage in their education journey, would be, don't forget self-care. I mean, that was like the biggest thing for me. I was working so hard and then working so hard in school that I wasn't taking care of me. And so I was like sleep deprived, and, you know, my friends no longer knew who I was. I didn't know what day of the week it was at times. Just always writing papers and, you know, going to class, working, and, you know, maintaining a household. Self-care is definitely important, and self-care doesn't necessarily mean going out on the weekends and, you know, and partying and having fun with friends. It could be something as simple as taking a long bath or watching your favorite show. something that just brings you peace and quiet and relaxation. I had to learn that the hard way when I started realizing that the end of every semester, as soon as finals were done, as soon as my grades came in, I would get cold, like get really sick. I would get a cold. And I went to my doctor one day and I said, at the end of every semester, I get really sick. And he told me it's because you're not taking care of yourself and you're kind of like an autopilot throughout the whole semester. And when your body finally relaxes, you're hit with everything. And so I had to learn how to take care of myself in the process. So as much as I say, go out, get involved, do good in all of your classes, join as many clubs and groups and, everything that you can in school, because that'll definitely help. It shapes your resume. You definitely want to become a well-rounded student. Making sure that you're taking the time to do something that you enjoy, because I missed a lot of that and didn't get it until further down. So definitely self-care.
Thank you. Thank you. Cerise?
Yeah, also going along with Natalie's saying, I also think it's really important to celebrate like little accomplishments that you were successful at. Like, yeah, you're not at graduation yet, but hey, you got through a week where you have like 4 or 5 tests and you got through them and you passed. And I think those little things are important to celebrate throughout you going through your college journey. Because I think we get so caught up in, all right, well, I got this to do, I got that to do. And we don't sit back and realize like, wow, I got through this week, I got this done. And, you're getting through it. And I think that's important to sit back and acknowledge everything you've done. And I think a lot of people tend to forget that and they just focus on the bigger picture, like just graduation, not the little things it took you to get to graduation.
Thank you.
That's advice I would probably give my freshman self, because I was like so overwhelmed and I would always focus on the bigger picture where I didn't realize like, wow, I did 5 tests this week and I'm still here. Like I'm still working towards a goal. I'm still studying. Like there's little things, just give yourself a pat on the back for it.
Yes, I agree. I actually try to help my own children with that, because they compile everything, like I have this and this and this and this and this and this, and it's like, all right, well, just what's the first thing that you have to do, and then let's celebrate that accomplishment. Because if you think about all these hurdles and things that you have to do, it can be just overwhelming. But taking the time to recognize what needs to be done first, and then celebrating that, even though you may have 40 other things that you need to do, you did one. So now you have one less than what you had. So I think that's great advice. So Jake, I'm going to call you back because I know that you were in the internship program. So I just want to ask you, why do you feel an internship is an important piece in preparing for the workforce?
I would definitely say because it exposes you to a lot of the things that you could be seeing in your future. And for me, that's engineering. When starting the internship, it was more in line with chemical, and I'm more in the direction of mechanical, but nonetheless, I still gained a lot of great experience, was able to talk to a lot of professionals in just the career that I plan on entering into. So it exposed me to a lot. And also exposed me that, not every day is going to be perfect, but that's how we overcome it. So that's when we would have these meetings and discuss what we're planning to do forward. And it just gave me a great opportunity to see what I can do with my, just my academics right now. And the further I know that I push, and I know the further that I can go. And that's definitely something that I would just recommend for anybody going into an internship. It's a great opportunity, exposes you to a lot of great things that you're hopefully going to be able to see, into your future.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for that advice. For the other panelists, I'm not sure if you all graduated from here and then immediately transferred into your program. But I would just like to know what was your biggest motivation? Because I know that there are students out there who are like, they graduate from Rowan College and they'll, they say, you know what, I'm just going to take a couple, I'm going to take a year off, or I'm going to take a couple years off and then I'll go back to school. And I know a lot of times when that happens, you lose the momentum of the wheel, and it can be very difficult to get back into going back to school. So what was your biggest motivation in kind of continuing your education past Rowan College of South Jersey?
I would say for me, I did, after I graduated from Cumberland County, I immediately moved right to Wilmington University. And you kind of touched on it a little bit with, just you're kind of in it at the moment and just continuing it to get that bachelor's degree. I think the important thing to me, when I went to community college, my end goal was always to get the bachelor's degree. And, I wanted to get it as soon as possible because I immediately just wanted to get into the workforce and, start my career off. And, my goal was to, get the bachelor's and, get the job. And then I wanted to immediately see it, like, is this for me? Is this type of field for me? And, as I was going through it at Cumberland and, when I went to Wilmington, it clicked all the boxes, but I was never in it. Like, I was never actually doing the job. So, with an HR degree, you can kind of move around into a lot of different, aspects of business. It's not just specific to human resources. But, I felt it was very important for me to just get it, get the process finished as fast as possible and get in the workforce and see is this degree, this path, it's the right path for me.
Okay, great. Cerise or Natalie, do you want to share?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I felt like I just wanted to get it done. I was eager to become a nurse, and basically just knowing that end goal of, okay, let me get my associates, I'll go for my bachelor's, and then I can sit down for my boards. Just knowing that I was getting closer to that goal motivated me. Okay, let me continue. I'm not going to take a break and jump right into my bachelor's program.
Okay. Natalie?
So I would say for me, I wanted to become the first person in my family to have a master's degree. And I had so many things working against me that it was like, if I can do it, why not do it? And overall, one thing that I've always held on to was just not wanting it to just be a repeat from generation to generation. So I wanted to create a foundation of just like emphasizing the importance of academics. And so when I became a intern, when I became a mental health clinician at a local high school, that was one of the things that I kind of talked to a lot of students about when they said, I want to take a year off. I want to take 2 years off. We talked about like being in that moment and being in that, having that momentum and maintaining it. So I told them to get those really crappy jobs, we would say, get those really bad jobs, while they're in high school and in community college, starting off, so that they can see like I'm putting in all of these hours and I'm not getting really good pay for it. So then, they can strive for something, a little better. So I think, just my motivation was, if I can do it, let's get it done, let's do it. And then once I graduated with my master's degree, it was like, oh, there's licensures that I can get now, that'll take me higher in my career. And so I started with getting my, my LSW, my licensed social work. And then I was like, all right, well, now I can do, my LCSW and become, a licensed clinician. And so, then once that was done, it was like, okay, well, now I can supervise interns that want to do what I was doing, and I can help them through that. So I think I'm just going to be a lifelong learner and continue to just build up my resume and just add to my knowledge base. You know, a lot of people have asked me, you know, do I want to go for my doctorate degree? And I'm like, you know, I don't know. Let's see what the future holds, and maybe, you know, maybe that's in the future. But for right now, I'm enjoying where I am right now with the amount of letters that are behind my name so far. So, yeah.
Are you gonna have like the whole alphabet after your name?
Right. Right.
It's all good. Well, I want to thank you all for using your time and spending the time with us this evening and sharing your experiences and your wisdom. I know that our students are going to find value in everything that you said, from, you know, your story of how you got to where you are today, to staying motivated and overcoming obstacles, and just accessing the resources that are here at the college in order to help you, you know, become successful and graduate and finish and transfer. So I thank all of you for being here, and everyone that's watching, thank you for taking the time, and have a great evening.